corresponding with the start of colonial mining and metallurgy, the cores suddenly contained chromium, molybdenum, antimony, and lead. The finding is in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Of course, these waste products are a proverbial drop in the bucket compared to the toxins we put out today, because we've developed ways to pollute that people back then could only have dreamed of. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Karen Hopkin.
There's a man named Dr. Wallach who is anything but your typical doctor. Both a veterinarian and naturopathic physician, Doc asks, why does the United States spend more money on health care by far and still rank 50th in health and longevity worldwide? He believes that people should empower themselves with a basic understanding of nutrition, taking charge of their life, and attain optimal health and longevity through nutrition, not by toxic prescription drugs leading to side effects. This is clearly a deadly recipe. The good news is Doc Wallach's message is resonating with an increasing number of Americans who are waking up to all the big government and big pharma manipulation of our healthcare system. I like what Doc Wallach is saying and doing to enlighten people about healthcare.
Well said, Alex. Join the movement today. To purchase longevity products, go to www.kcaaradio.com. Click on the Buy Longevity image or call toll-free 855-909-3047. That's 855-909-3047.
Here's a look at the community calendar. I'm Di Rice. Inland Pacific Ballet will be performing at 4 different theaters across the Southland. There will be 10 opportunities to see Beauty and the Beast, so make sure you catch one of these breathtaking performances. Shows will begin April 25th and run through May 16th. Performances will be held in Claremont, Rancho Cucamonga, and Riverside. Find your show and pick your seats for Beauty and the Beast at ipballet.org. Group discounts are available, and that is a look at the KCAA community calendar. I'm Di Rice.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
All right, here we are. Boy, we missed you last week, but I hope you had a great Easter. I hope you really celebrated for the right reason. I know some of us gained a couple of pounds, and that's not why Easter was there. But it's hard to turn down all that great food and stuff like that. But I hope your mind moved forward into a situation where you're going to try to do better and renew your life's issues and things of that sort. We're here today. We've got some wonderful guests in. Obviously, I don't know how wonderful he is, but it's good to see him. Mr. Jamal Lilly, good to see you, my brother. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
That noise you hear is us slapping hands. Haven't done that with him in a while. And we have a special guest, a young lady. Her name is Shamika Sukdale. Did I say it right? Sukdale.
Close, Sukdale. There you go.
Sukdale. I don't want to be setting the program off with the wrong standard of just being totally perfect. So I want to leave room for us to get better as we grow older here. Part of that is to say congratulations again to our friends Troy and Di Thomas. They renewed their vows at 34 years yesterday. And once again, we celebrate those things that, they kind of start off a little rocky. He didn't know for sure if she knew how to make his coffee, and she wasn't sure he knew how to drink it correctly. But over the 34 years, they've worked it out, and they're doing a really good job in inspiring everybody, including a couple that was there that's been married over 40 years. Of course, that's me and my wife, Josephine. Now, I wonder about her sometimes being able to put up with a guy like me for that period of time. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Now, we have before us some opportunity. I was just speaking with Ms. Shamika. She's involved with Prop 47. That's the proposition that California proposition that changed the classification of many of our felonies and crime standards, as they did a redistribution of where prisoners live and who's in charge of taking care of prisoners. There's an opportunity for some of those people, some of the people who have a felony, that felonies have been reclassified to misdemeanors, and there is a process that these people can go through that can expose, or what do we call it, expunge those those charges?
Yes. Well, actually, some misdemeanors, some felonies could be reclassified to misdemeanors and then subsequently expunged. So what happens is that certain individuals are going to be eligible if they don't have any serious nonviolent. The felonies are non-sex related, and they're not registered sex offenders. So they would have to basically fill out a petition if you're in Riverside or San Bernardino County or statewide. The forms vary, the local forms do, that is. And it takes about 45 days to 2 months or so, because you have to file the petition, and then you have to serve it on the DAs. They have 30 days to respond, and then the judge gets to ultimately make a decision based on whether or not it'll be classified as a felony or reclassified as a misdemeanor or remain a felony.
And the judge makes that decision, and we don't know what that decision is based on, or is it?
Well, yes.
I mean, it seems like it'd be pretty automatic. Either they have those offenses that make them ineligible, or they don't.
Well, it's some. Well, they have to, if they're on probation, for example, some felony conviction. Excuse me. Some persons with the felony convictions, they have to contact their probation officer or get hold of their rap sheet. And so once they have the rap sheet, somebody has to go down and see whether or not they're eligible. So you can't just magically, okay, this person's eligible because looking at this offense by itself. So, like for example, Riverside County, they kind of prioritize by the inmates that are currently in prison. So they want to help those individuals first so that they can be removed from prison. And then we look at people who are currently on probation. And then we look at the individuals who have served their sentences and completed serving the sentence.
It's really interesting, the attitude that we approach as we take this. You just said that for instance, in the county of Riverside, they want to help those prisoners, those people who are in prison first.
That's correct.
But in fact, they want to help the prison system first by getting rid of those people that are in prison who, according to the new law and new standard and suit that the state and county cannot afford to keep in there because they're under some type of judgment, to get those people out of jail.
Yes.
So it's not really just helping those people that are in jail, it's helping the county adhere to the new law.
And that's exactly correct.
Right.
Because
so I'm not really cheering a whole lot for how the system is doing this, mainly because they're using my tax money.
Exactly.
And I'm just concerned about how we frame certain things in order to make it look like we're really doing something. Because if they really wanted to take these felonies, reclassify these felonies, and I'm just guesstimating, but I would imagine that they have all of the charges. They have the rap sheet, the same thing that they're telling the prisoner or the felony holder to go find your rap sheet. They already have it. Not the date, but the government already has it. The government's in a position to look at the rap sheet and determine all of the things that you're talking about and make a check mark and say, hey, these guys are through. But no, they got to come bring them back into court. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too cynical.
No, you're absolutely
maybe I'm
right.
just reflecting all of the things that the news is showing us that has been going on, that we knew was going on, and nobody believed was going on until they saw a damn video of somebody getting shot again and again. And they still, every time it goes on, they want to act like it's the first time and it's a fresh time. And I just can't help but realize that is much like the rusting in a car or anything else. It takes a long time for the rust to take effect, and when the engine falls out of the car, it may seem like, well, wow, it just happened. We've had a problem in our justice system for a long time, and I think that I have to be happy that it's being worked on, but I'm not elated. I'm not, super happy, kind of like the gas prices. They're back down to $3.09. That doesn't excite me. I want to see them back down to where my daddy saw them, 25, 40 cents a gallon. I know it's not going to happen, but somebody's got to be crazy like I am to expect something more than they're giving. Otherwise, we don't really have a negotiation. I'm glad that you're working on this.
You're exactly right. And so that's why the organization that we're with, the Richard T. Fields Bar Association, when we're going to make it an annual thing because the organization is only 5 years old. We were founded in 2010, and so we're offering on May 1st a law day, and basically historically, law day is when the attorneys and the different bar associations, legal associations, we go out into the community, and it's usually with students, and then we give them just information about how the legal system works, their laws, the rights, and things like that. And so what we're doing is this year, half of it is going to be designated for just general legal questions for the members of the community. And then the other half of it is going to be for individuals who need the limited scope help with completing the petitions and just receiving more information on what they need to do to follow through the steps.
Very good.
So we're excited about that. And I agree with your situation because really the proposition is about dealing with the overcrowding of the prison systems. And that's ultimately what it is. You know, they say it's the safe neighborhood and safe schools, but you're right, it's ultimately about that.
We have Miss Renee Wickman on the phone. Renee is a community activist, a political activist, a community coordinator, and she helped produce today's show and introduce us to you. Renee, how are you this morning?
I'm here.
No. Yeah, I'm sure that makes a lot of people happy to know that you're here aggravating, pushing to make things happen, that they would just, you're trying to make a cake out of stuff that they're just trying to throw away. Renee, why are you involved with this Prop 47? What do you see as important about these issues?
Well, hello, everybody and staff, and hello, my great friend Shamika and Mr. Wallace Allen. Good morning to you guys.
And the mood master here, Mr. Anthony Garcia, is back,
and the mood
giving
master,
us a wall of attitude to lean on, and Mr. Jamal Lilly's here. And
is that their music I hear back there?
That's the mood master. That's the mood master hooking us up.
That's groovy. That's really groovy.
So let's put you to work.
I've been interested in justice reform for as far back as I can remember. Honestly, that's always been my first active.
Doesn't have anything to do with the fact you're from Chicago, does it?
It might. It really, really might. Because all of these things that they're talking about, the murdering of our black men and the black men being half the prison population across the country, is, for me, for a long time, has been just ridiculous. And I've always known that there's been direct racism behind it. So when Proposition came about in the state of California, I was really excited about it. And for whatever reason that they have to reduce the prison population, that's fine with me. So I jumped on board right away and was watching it, since I heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
But my angle is with the Proposition 47 and with all the prison reform situation. The state of California has a board. It's called the Board of State of Community Correction. And what that is, it is a board that the governor.
Renee, I'm gonna interrupt you because I'm getting a little signal from the engineer. We need to take a short break, and when we come back, we'd like to have you talk about this. Is it a commission or committee?
It's a state board of community correction. Yes,
these people have a lot to do with where money goes, and we'll want to pay attention to that.
Exactly, and our people need to know what they're doing with this savings that they're saving from releasing these.
Well, I won't remind everybody before we go to the break that if they went to some city council meetings in San Bernardino or wherever you live, or went to some board of supervisor meetings, or called your assembly person once or twice a month. But anyway, I'm not going to just push people like that right now. I'll do it later.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Before I answer your question, have you signed up for Medi-Cal?
Baby, I already told you, all I need is your love to cover me.
And that may be true. But unfortunately, my love doesn't cover hospitalization, substance use disorder services, lab and prescription costs, contraceptives, annual checkups, maternity and newborn care, chronic disease management.
You do realize that I am down on one knee asking
Which reminds me, mental health is also covered.
Cool, I get it. Just know that you're never gonna find another man like me.
That may be true. But there are over 11 million Californians already covered through Medi-Cal.
So you're saying if I enroll, your answer is yes?
There's only one way for you to find out.
This has been another episode of Medi-Cal Can. Tune in next time when Rachel makes a startling discovery.
What do you mean I have to renew my Medi-Cal every year?
Get covered. Your well-being within reach.
KCAA is your CNBC news affiliate. We're the station that gets down to business.
This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. You know, KCAA is an NBC affiliate, and that is the news organization that brought to you that great video of our San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department chasing down a young man who had stolen, well, not stolen a car, but he stole a horse and he ran off into the desert and he earned a butt whipping. Everybody's not satisfied or happy about the level of that butt whipping. And just goes to show that the police culture is a culture that sometimes has a diverse attitude, and they'll whip a white butt just like they will a black one. Depending on how angry, of course, they've gotten as a result of the chase and, and their adrenaline rushing. You know, when people are experts at what they do, and the adrenaline rushes, that means you get under control. You get cool with anticipation, not hot with ignorant attitude. How good is that quarterback gonna be under pressure if he gets so wild and hot that his adrenaline doesn't let him throw the ball right, or the fireman can't climb the ladder correctly, and he gets up there and gets excited, and instead of helping you down the ladder, he throws you down the ladder. Come on, guys, experts are experts, and when you practice, and you get good. You get good, and you cannot come up with excuses just because you thought the helicopter was going to turn the cameras off like they have done in the past when you get ready to beat somebody up. Congratulations once again to the news attitude at NBC. That's who we are. Praise the Lord. Good deal.
Well, especially if you are carrying a deadly weapon, you really ain't supposed to lose your composure.
No. And the reason you're coming to work is because you expect to run into some fools.
Exactly.
So when you're gonna run into fools, my grandpa used to say it takes two fools to make a real crazy incident. So all of that to say is we need to better train our police, and we need to understand that just because they want the job don't mean they're qualified. Okay?
Well, you know what? This is my feeling. My feeling is this: when you ask law enforcement like that, most of them believe in the death penalty. And most of them believe that the death penalty and harsh prison sentence is detour crime.
That's how they feel about it.
That goes for you too. That goes for them too.
Yeah, but
when they're murdering people and they're beating people down unjustly, let's try some prison time and see if it'll detour them from that behavior and attitude, since that's what they believe.
Yeah, we would like for them to be police. They don't need to be the judge and the jury and the prison system all at one time. I understand how you can get your adrenaline bumped up, but parents get their adrenaline bumped up all the time, but you cannot beat on that child.
That's right.
Okay, so there's some issues, and I didn't mean to rant this long. I only meant to rant a couple of seconds, but you know how out of control we get when our adrenaline starts running. Renee, you were going to tell us about this commission or this community organization that helps determine where the finances go to help support this redistribution of prisoners and Prop 47.
Which is going to be the money. This is going to be hundreds of millions and billions of dollars because they're actually saving the cost of housing the prisoners every year. So this commission, this Board of State and Community Corrections, the governor and the Assembly Speaker has an appointment. The governor has many appointments. There's a judicial council that appoints a judge. Well, there are 13 members on this board, and now one of them is African American.
Well, you know, that doesn't so much bother me because, you know, I can't guarantee that the color of somebody's skin is going to make them have the right attitude about what to do here.
I do understand
and
that,
quite frankly, it appears that white judges, you know, if we raise hell, are a little bit more sensitive to black folk raising hell than black judge might be. I don't know. I haven't had enough experience with black judges to find out, but I do know that diversity is what they say that they have, and so I would like you expect to see, you know, even if it was a Clarence Thomas on the committee, they've got to look hard enough to find somebody that makes it look like they're representing anyway. So I agree.
Well,
I agree with you.
I mean, at least act like it, or I mean, you know, have some respect and dignity about it. But I don't understand the fact that they don't have it.
Yes, you do. You just don't accept it, and that's why we love you, because you do understand why they don't, and you will not accept it quietly, and you're out here pushing to see if there can't be some way to get someone on that committee who for sure will be a little sensitive to your issue. But I can't go too much further, Renee, without bringing out the fact that, you know, we're sitting here talking about how important it is to get people back on our streets who've been in jail, and when they get back on the streets, we don't have anything for them to do except.
Well, that's the whole point. That's what I'm saying. That they are directing that money straight to probation and law enforcement. Those
where would you like to see it go?
Hundreds of millions of dollars, they are not coming back to the community.
Well,
they're not coming back to the African American community.
Okay, if they did come back, let's set a formula for saying, okay, rather than simply saying, because I've got Leonard on the phone, I've got Andrew on the phone, Jamal's sitting here on the edge of his seat, and you know we're all advocates for these issues. So, but the point is, okay, where should the money go as a solution, as opposed to simply saying, hey, there's a problem, these knuckleheads are stealing our money? Because we could say that every day, and we do, quite frankly. But what do we say in terms of where the money should go? What should it be allocated to do that's going to be a solution as opposed to a continuation of the problem?
Well, let me give you an example. Right here in the city of San Bernardino, we have, for instance, a proportion of that money is supposed to go to mental health issues for the African American community. We have an African American Mental Health Association nonprofit organization right here, ran by Linda Hart. Also, we have Time for Change, run by Kim Carter.
So we have some local organizations that do mental health.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, that money should go to. Kim Carter has, like halfway home.
Well, let's just accept the fact that they are qualified and well established and able to correctly spend that money analyzing and working with the black community and the edges of that community in terms of mental health. Okay, so mental health is one of the places you would like to see that money spent, right?
Yes. We have to have it. Mental health, we have to have.
Okay, so now we've got people who've been in jail, who are out on the street, who've got their little mental health issue concern. But what do they do? Where do they live? How do they work? What is the? I mean, see, so it seems to me that we may be, making the problem more perplexing because we're looking at one of the symptoms instead of the large solution, which is why those people went to jail probably in the first place, because they didn't have a doggone job or a way of really securing themselves unless they maybe sold a little herb, robbed, I don't know. Maybe they robbed my house and took my TV. I don't know.
All of those billions of dollars that they have could do that. They could go into community programs for the African American community, and it would be enough. It would be enough where they could provide housing.
I can see Leonard almost fell off of his chair when you said that, and Andrew's probably on the floor already.
Instead, it's going to law enforcement, probation, and what are they doing? They surely aren't providing housing.
No,
they surely aren't providing jobs and training. It's just going back into the law enforcement community.
Okay, so you said something about what they're not doing, which implies that that's maybe some of the things that you would like to see done. You said something about housing. You said something about job training.
Yes.
Okay, so those are some of the things you'd like to see with the money take place.
Well, I'm saying yes, absolutely.
Because I'm with you. I don't want them out if they don't have a place to live, or a plan for us to at least put them to work.
But that was one of the things that the law enforcement said that was the biggest problem with these AB 109 early release. They couldn't find jobs and housing.
That's how.
But all of the money that they gave to them, they did not direct that money for those specific things.
Very good.
And we need to get ahead of the game right now to let our governor know that this money has to go back into the African American community, to African American organizations, to support the African American inmates that's coming out and reintegrating in the community. We have to have that.
Okay,
it cannot go back to law.
I understand your position on it. That's great. Let's talk real quick, not real quick, but real quick about some of the things that you guys are working on to help facilitate this move to reclassify felonies into misdemeanors. I understand there's some classes, some workshops, some opportunities that are available free of charge to people who have felonies that would like to have those things reclassified. Is that correct?
Yes. So we provide, together with some of the organizations in San Bernardino and in Riverside counties, training for the attorneys who normally don't do this type of representation. And then we offer the assistance on a limited scope to the individuals who would be eligible, and we provide that service to them because obviously they didn't provide any funding to deal with the influx of all these new petitions. So the public defender's office, they're swamped, the courts are swamped, but people need the assistance.
Right.
And if they can't afford it, we're here to provide it for them because
now,
we have to do
you
that
say
for them.
can't afford it. There are people who are charging folks to take them through this process?
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah. If you Google, you'll see some attorneys who actually have that on their websites as a service that they also offer part of their practice.
Right, and that's because we cannot assume that just because one has a felony that they're broke. That's not the case. We're going to go on and take this short break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up with Prop 47, and we are expecting a call from Miss Mary Flowers. She's calling us from Nigeria. We're going to talk a little bit about African trade and jobs and things that can possibly create to help possibly some of these people with Prop 47 who are looking for work. And that hopefully will be one of the solution phases as we discuss things here today. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. That right information happens to be coming from Miss Benea Wickman and Miss Shamika Sukdawa. Oh, man, I did that too.
Sukdeo, Shamika Sukdeo.
Yeah, see, I heard you laugh at me, Jamal, but I didn't hear you correct it either. Sukdeo. She's a very, very beautiful lady with a husband who's got a great last name, and Mr. Sukdeo. I have total respect for it, and you'll notice that as I pronounce it from now on, Mr. Sukdeo. All right, we'll be right back right after this short break.
You know that you can murder somebody and get out of prison?
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Before I answer your question, have you signed up for Medi-Cal?
Baby, I already told you, all I need is your love to cover me.
And that may be true. But unfortunately, my love doesn't cover hospitalization, substance use disorder services, lab and prescription costs, contraceptives, annual checkups, maternity and newborn care, chronic disease management.
You do realize that I am down on one knee asking you...
Which reminds me, mental health is also covered.
Cool, I get it. Just know that you're never gonna find another man like me.
That may be true. But there are over 11 million Californians already covered through Medi-Cal.
So you're saying if I enroll, your answer is yes?
There's only one way for you to find out.
This has been another episode of Medi-Cal Can. Tune in next time when Rachel makes a startling discovery.
What do you mean I have to renew my Medi-Cal every year?
Get covered. Your well-being within reach.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice with the right information. Boy, Anthony gave us a big question during the break. He pointed out that as we were discussing Prop 47 prisoners and prisoners in general, he was pointing out that even a murderer who's been released from jail or will be able to go and get food stamps. However, people who have been convicted based on a drug issue after 1996, they're not able to collect food stamps ever. We would like to have
Miss Sookdale.
Oh,
so just to clarify, I thought you had another one of those.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Senior moment.
Yeah, no, that was just a senior moment there. But yeah, we'd like to have you clarify or look into that and see if that's the issue and whether the expungement that takes place with this reclassification would make a drug offender eligible for food stamps.
And that's something that we would definitely like to look deeper into and to get the information out so that people who would otherwise qualify can, take advantage of those benefits while they're still trying to get on their feet and, while they are doing job training or whatever it is that they're doing to rehabilitate themselves to get back into the society.
How can people get in touch with you to get more information about this program? This program is not something that will end next week, and it's being developed more and more, and people like you are helping to make this reclassification. How can folks get in touch with you, Chimika?
Well, right now we do have an email address, and that email address is rtfieldsba@gmail.com.
Is there a phone number?
There is not a phone number at this time, but the individual attorneys, we do provide our office numbers. But at this time, our organization, we're a small but mighty group in its infancy. So we're hoping soon, we'll get more established.
Well, let's give them that email address very slowly and read it out to them.
Okay, so that's R as in Robert, T as in Tom, F as in Frank, I as in Igloo, E elephant, L as in ladder, S as in Sam, B as in boy, A as in apple, @gmail.com.
Very good. Okay, folks, so pay attention to that. Give them a call. Leonard, Andrew, you guys have been listening. Lean on it. We're expecting a call in a few minutes, but I'd like for you and Andrew to give us your thoughts on what we've just been talking about, if you have any. If not, we'll expect you to contribute on the next section.
Well, we're talking about our system of punishment, incarceration, etc.
No, it's supposed to be corrections.
Well,
it's not the California Department of Punishment. It's the California Department of Corrections. But anyway, I can understand why you feel like that or say that. That is the framework that we're operating under. Go ahead.
If it served the stated purpose, we would not be having this conversation. Now, what I'm suggesting here is that effectively what we have is a system of punishment. Do we have an equally potent reward system?
Yeah, but you got to be a congressman, and there's only room for how many of those?
535.
535. So
400.
You probably have a better job getting in the NBA.
435 in the House and 100 in the Senate.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
what if we had an organization?
Okay.
What if we had an organization that was equal to the organization we use to incarcerate people?
What would that be called?
That was used to provide rewards for
okay.
cooperative and proper behavior.
Okay. Okay.
It's just something to think about, because you've got punishment and reward. We're always talking about punishment. And who's responsible for this whole situation? We, as a society, are. And we talk about putting people in jail. Well, wait a second. Have we failed our responsibility to help them become part of what we're doing? We have to ask that question.
I think that's a dynamic question that really requires some active thinking and not just
it's moral authority from the bench. If I'm going to pronounce judgment on somebody, have I really done enough to be in a position to do that?
See, now
maybe this is a call for help. This person needs help. Put them back in, train them. This. If they come back again, you got to say, well, what's going on here? I mean, what is it that we're not doing? And at that point, if you have somebody who's just simply incorrigible, well, then now you have the moral authority to pass an appropriate sentence on
Let's mix that up with one of the things that we see police doing in several jurisdictions now, and that's giving people tickets for good conduct. I thought about that as a child. I'm a brilliant person. Well, I used to be. I'm right now. But I thought, I invented a lot of things. I just didn't collect the money on them. The big screen TV, I invented that a long time ago. But I invented the concept that policemen could pull you over and congratulate you for making a nice turn or being kind to someone else. But then as I tried to construct and make that program work, I thought about what would happen when the policeman put his light on behind me to give me the ticket for being a good driver. I'm still a black man and I'm still scared. So I had to scrap that idea, and I see they're working on it, and I just don't know when we're going to find out that a policeman was going to pull somebody over to give them a Good Citizen Award, and in fact the person drove off and then they started a chase, and the next thing you know, the guy got his butt whipped because he didn't pull over.
Don't forget the story about the guy who's like the anonymous Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Every Christmas he gives he went to a police department and he gave all the officers like $1,000 and told them to give it to people if they saw him doing something nice, and they were pulling people over and they were doing just like you said. They were like, oh my God, what did I do? And the cop comes up to him and gives him $50 or $100. I mean, it was an amazing sequence to see this happen. Now, what you're saying is when the lights go on, why? Because usually, something's up. But now if we have a different experience,
that would be great.
We got a ticket that was like pretty soon we're collecting these things and saying, man, I got 15 of these things.
A great way for a police department.
You have a different relationship.
A great way for a police department to determine how they really are received by the community would be to start that program and see how many people are surprised and afraid.
But you can do this a different way, Wallace.
Okay.
I'll give you an example from real life right here in San Bernardino.
Okay.
My mother, she started something called the Opportunity Program about 30 years ago in the San Bernardino Unified School District because nobody else wanted to do it.
Okay.
And the whole idea was to make the students not afraid of authority figures, this time being the teachers, the social workers, the people that intervene in the lives, and the parents not being afraid of these people from CPS coming in trying to see what you're doing with your child. And so she started something where she would take all the kids that nobody wanted to deal with, all the kids that were, dropping out, not dealing with school, so on and so forth. And she would go to the houses and she would give out caught doing good citations.
Caught doing good. I love that. That's great.
And bring them back into the classroom.
Yes.
Encourage them with the same kinds of things on a daily basis, like rewarding them for doing the right thing. When they're caught doing something bad, correct the behavior, but emphasize what you want instead of trying to de-emphasize or deter what you don't want.
Hate to say it, but it's kind of like training your dog.
And it worked. And now the San Bernardino School District has this program all over the whole school district. It gets defunded now, time after time, but it still exists. And the real thing on it is the kids, you walk around all over the city when I'm with my mother, and they all come up to her 20 years later, 30 years later. Right. They've got jobs, they've got families, they own homes, they own cars, they got bank accounts, they've never been in jail, and they think about what they would have been had they not had the experience of dealing with authority or seeing an authority figure approaching and not feeling fearful. Feeling like there's an opportunity there.
Well, see, not only did your mother raise a good kid, she earned a good citizenship award from Empire Talks Back, and we're going to give it to her sooner or later because that's the guy. I'm sure she is, and I appreciate that.
She still does it as a foster family agency, a social worker, caught doing
this
good.
This is why solutionary is a real word, because there are people out there who take these things on, do something about them, and they never run looking for applause, never run looking for anybody to say, "Oh, you did a great job." We've got to squeeze in a really hot topic, get her son aroused to defend the concept, and then we find out about another great thing that his mother has done. And we appreciate that, because it sets the example for everyone out there that says you can't just stand and watch what's going on. You have to get involved. This is why, as a news organization and a group, we would hope that no one that we know would ever get a Pulitzer Prize for taking a picture of a drowning child. Why? Because you reach your damn hand out and help the kid so he doesn't drown. Forget the picture, right? And that's what we're trying to tell people to do. Don't just accept the traditional ripoff. Do something to make a change. And this is what we really appreciate about you, Miss Wickman, and you, Miss Sukdale.
There you
go.
Perfect.
Tell me, I know what I'm talking about here.
Well, Mr. Allen,
I'm being blessed. We're going to have to move on to another subject, and because we have Miss Mary Flowers calling us from Nigeria, and she's on the line. So, Miss Renea, I'm going to ask you to join us again next week, because I need to have Andrew and Leonard available to respond to this great information we're going to get from Miss Mary Flowers, who is the proprietor of a company called Sturdy Quick and Global Green. And you tell us more about her, Jamal, because
are we going to break?
We're going to take this short break, and when we come back, we're going to introduce you to Ms. Mary Flowers and a summit called the African Global Economic Development Summit, and you can be involved.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Before I answer your question, have you signed up for Medi-Cal?
Baby, I already told you, all I need is your love to cover me.
And that may be true. But unfortunately, my love doesn't cover hospitalization, substance use disorder services, lab and prescription costs, contraceptives, annual checkups, maternity and newborn care, chronic disease management.
You do realize that I am down on one knee asking you...
Which reminds me, mental health is also covered.
Cool, I get it. Just know that you're never gonna find another man like me.
That may be true. But there are over 11 million Californians already covered through Medi-Cal.
So you're saying if I enroll, your answer is yes?
There's only one way for you to find out.
This has been another episode of Medi-Cal Can. Tune in next time when Rachel makes a startling discovery.
What do you mean I have to renew my Medi-Cal every year?
Get covered. Your well-being within reach.
For more local radio every day, Tune in to KCAA Loma Linda.
This is Empower Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. So we've got a couple of steps that we're going to be taking as a result of today's conversation. One is that we are going to continue to work with Ms. Sukdeo. She is, and her organization, free legal advice. Come on, folks. I got to take that, right? I mean, not for me, but for you.
Quality legal advice.
Quality free legal advice to help balance and make things right. We're not going to be, well, I'm not going to say we're not going to sue anybody. I wouldn't want to start that. But we've got a call. Mrs. Mary Flowers is on the line. She introduce Mary for us.
Yes, Mary Flowers is the CEO of Global Green Development Group. She's also been a general contractor for over 2 decades here in California, doing development projects, infrastructure development in particular, all over the world. Global Green has spearheaded what now is the hottest economic venture or adventure, depending on how you approach it, in the American economic growth sectors, which is African economic development. The long and short of it is she is in Nigeria, as she often is, right now, putting together multi-billion-dollar projects that she has originated and that need American goods and services and skills in order to be implemented. And there are tremendous opportunities available for people in all sectors of the manufacturing, service sectors, various trades. If you have, light switches and small implements like that, all the way up to major machinery and whatnot, there is a place for you in the Global Green Development Group project portfolio. The long and short of it is there's an awful lot of opportunity for you to present your products at the African Global Economic and Development Summit, which will be coming up at USC on the 13th through the 15th of August of this year. There's going to be an awful lot of information there that will enable you to demystify the process of implementing some sort of business relationship with the African continent that will be productive and profitable. And there also are tremendous opportunities for people who have projects that need funding to link up with financiers, people who are the decision makers, able to write checks and make administrative decisions that actually make the deals happen. This is not just a talking summit. This is a doing summit.
Well, for me, the word project just explodes the possibilities of what we're talking about. Can we be a bit more specific? Mary, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
All right, good. You
Loud
came in
and clear
loud
from
and clear.
8,000 miles away.
We're going to make a few adjustments here on my listening in. Very good. So, Mary, I was asking Jamal, you did hear your introduction, I take it? Did you?
I did hear it.
Very good. It was pretty accurate too, right?
It was very accurate.
Okay, well, he didn't tell people that you walk on water, and I think we've seen that a couple of times. I don't know. But anyway, project-wise, what are some of
the... is one of our right-hand guys, so, he's going to have favoritism.
Very good. That's a perfect disclosure. Mary, what are some of the projects, as Jamal is speaking of projects, just let you talk about the AIDS Summit and what you do in Africa a little bit so people can understand a bit more of who you are and what they can do to benefit from the groundwork that you've done.
I'm sorry, some of the election stuff is chiming in the background. We're here now. Right now in Nigeria, it's a critical time. It's the election time. They elected the president of Nigeria last week, and we have a new president, President Buhari. Yesterday was the elections of all the state governments. And so today they're announcing the results. The results are slowly coming in. And luckily for us, in the states that we're doing business in, we're winning.
Hallelujah.
So this has been a fantastic time. We have a project in one of the states for $3.8 billion, putting in an industrial complex, which we're hoping to steer a lot of American businesses and investors to come along and join us to build out this industrial complex that will change an entire region and create jobs for the local people here. So we're really excited about that. We've actually was awarded our certificate of occupancy, which is the land title for the first 100 hectares in phase 1. Our governor is winning in this election, so he's going to be there for another term. The new president-elect is the same party, so we expect to really move this project forward. So everything is going favorably for us right now. Our biofuel project, Biofuel to Jadropa project, is really moving forward. And it was interesting. We went to church this morning, and we went to a church that holds 25,000 people.
Wow.
And we were on the third service.
The third
service. So if you can imagine 25,000 people, 3 services on one Sunday.
Wow. Okay.
It's amazing.
That is amazing. that is all in the one building? Same building. Amazing.
All in one building. These are massive churches. It's just really unbelievable. And they were saying that that's one of the satellite churches, that they have one that holds double the capacity and another one that holds the same capacity. If you can only imagine the power that these bishops have here in this country.
Well, I shouldn't say this, but I can't help but say it. I'm imagining the collection they're dealing with. My goodness.
I took a picture, and I'm not supposed to snap pictures in the church, but I had to take a picture because the collections are so big. They were coming down the aisles with trash cans. And dumping the collection bins into the trash can.
Well, let me ask you a question that may not be, the answer may not be politically correct for you over there, but how involved are the churches in development since they are so involved in collecting the resources?
You know, they are participating. The church we went to today, we visited a site right after where they have plans to build 1,000 homes and a solar farm. And the buyers of those homes will be the church congregation. So they are actively involved. Of course, they're only a church, so they're often looking for technology partners and investors.
Now, with your project, the $6 billion project that you've been okay to do something with 100 hectares of
3.8 billion.
3.8. Yeah, that's 4 to me. And
it's a $3.8 billion development. They've awarded us land for 300 hectares in a prime zone by the Imo state government.
What Leonard Evans?
100 hectares has been officially titled to us now to start phase 1.
Very good.
Phase 1 is about $1.5 billion.
Now, Mary, you're giving us the menu. Now we're hungry. We want to order. What can we do? What kind of businesses? Because we say 3.8 billion. A lot of people say, "Well, that's out of my line." But we're talking about doorknobs as well as. Can you talk about what is needed and what here Americans can do to contribute to that and be part of this this bonus baby? I understand there's an event on this Thursday that will help.
The 16th.
The 16th, yes. That will help. It's a trade
event
winds
on Thursday, the 16th, is talking. It's a reception, and it's a free reception. So I encourage anyone that wants to learn more about doing business in Africa to come. It's in the LA Chamber of Commerce, downtown Los Angeles. But that particular reception, and you can find the information to register for that event at the www.agedsummit.com website. There is an RSVP section. You do have to register, even though it's free, to attend. There we will have ambassadors from several of the fastest growing GDP countries.
Let me interrupt you and let me interrupt you and just say, folks, if you've got any idea at all about wanting to do this, you need to be at that particular meeting. It's available for you very inexpensively. But let's get you back over telling me and Leonard and those others what kind of small businesses are eligible to come and join with you on your big project in Africa.
Well, that's the importance of the AIDS Summit, the African Global Economic and Development Summit. What we're doing there is by putting on this summit each year in California at the University of Southern California is educating folks, and particularly small and medium-sized businesses that don't really have a clue of how to get started in doing business with Africa. We bring them there. We bring countries from Africa to showcase projects like ours and others that are available for immediate partnership, technology, equipment, you name it, and to get involved. And this year, we're actually planning a workshop that will show the smallest business how to start profiting from just loading a single container of goods, their choice, and sending it over to Africa and eventually growing from one container to multiple containers per month and having a very profitable and lucrative export business.
Mary, can I give...
That's one way to get people started.
Leonard, we've only got a minute. Leonard, you'd like to ask Mary something? Do you have...
Yes, well, I'd just like to compliment her on doing this, because what I see is all of the things in the 99-cent store, all the things in the supermarkets and the department stores, there's an opportunity to put these kinds of things in the hands of someone in Africa who's looking for someone who will do that. And then they know where to take it and give it to different people where it gets sold. And once that supply starts, once that flow begins, it will continue and grow because there is a huge hunger for these simple things.
Very good.
And the idea of opening a shop on the corner, if you conceive of yourself doing that, this is another way of doing the same thing with a much bigger market.
And understanding that if we are going to be able to afford to bring our people out of the ignorance of either lack of education or jail, we need to create jobs. We need to get into business.
This is a way of doing that, and that's the main point.
Very much.
We have to talk more about it because
we will.
There are real ways to get this done. Right now.
The real answers will continue to come, and we'll be looking forward to doing that with you here in the future. The world is wide open, and we've got to be wide open for stepping into it. As our friend Celeste always said, we need a footprint outside of America if we want to be successful in America. That's what we've been working on, and we're going to continue to do that. We want to thank you, Miss. No, I want to call her by her first name, and
you're going to run out of time.
No, Miss Shamika Sukdale, thank you very much. We do appreciate you coming in. Jamal, as usual. We want to thank Raheem for coming in. He's doing our video for us. I do want to thank, I can't say how and why, but I met a very famous investigative reporter last week. You should look at the West Side Story and see the picture of me and the Masked Man, and look him up because he's very important to our future. He will be working with us in the future. So, Empire Talks Back. Be here next Sunday under two circumstances. One, if the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. We will be blessed if we can see you next week. Bye.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Are you looking for a car, truck, or SUV without changing your finances? A place to go where the staff treats you like family? Well, look no further than West Coast Auto in Montana.